Hi guys, I'm Anna.
And I'm Brian.
And we are...
Whoa.
Sorry.
Happened there.
I choked on my spit.
Right there. Something happened. Get in there.
Hi guys, I'm Anna.
And I'm Brian.
And we are...
Those annoying vegans! And today we wanted to make something bright and colorful and joyous. So we basically just put a whole bunch of fruit in a bowl to enjoy like the primates that we are.
We're calling it our dragon fruit smoothie bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like those really pretty pictures you see on Instagram all the time.
I think we nailed it.
I mean, it doesn't quite look like this. It has more of a homemade, quaint look to it, which means you can make it at home yourself.
And as always, this recipe is delicious, affordable, and easy to make.
So let's make it.
Let's make it.
Oh man.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So cutting up the shapes on the dragon fruit was really fun.
It's a little experimental.
I think the people who do it in those pictures on Instagram use like little molds or something. Like,
maybe like little cookie cutters
my
or something?
star was a little
I like
crappy.
your star. You kept not wanting to use the star, and I like
know,
it.
It's a crappy star.
No, it's a perfectly beautiful star. We were trying to get the frosted look on the fruit by putting it in the freezer. It didn't work.
I don't know how they do that. They said put it in the freezer for 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
The fruit was a little wet.
Yeah.
It didn't work for us.
Didn't really work.
I'll have to figure out that science later. But it tastes delicious.
It's like a fruit pudding.
And you can put anything on it. Your favorite fruit, your favorite seeds. If you do opt for granola, just make sure you read the ingredients because, boy,
Oh, yeah.
do they like to put dairy and honey in granola.
They love to put honey in granola. What do we
This
get,
was-
like Nature's Organic?
Nature's Path
Nature's
Organic.
Path.
Honey-free.
Dairy-free. Mm-hmm.
Dairy and granola.
It's that dairy industry doing their thing. You got some granola? Let's put some milk in there. You got some tomato sauce? Let's put some milk in there. You got some blueberries? Let's put some milk in there.
One of our Instagram friends posted a photo of their wine bottle and it said contains milk.
In wine?
Yes.
You guys are insane.
What we talk about today.
Well, since we've now participated in 2 cubes of truth, and I know it's not a lot, we're still new at this,
Very new.
but what you will find if you ever want to participate in a cube of truth or just do any sort of vegan outreach whatsoever, you'll find that the same arguments will keep popping up over and over and over again.
The people you speak to at a cube of truth, some of them are no different from people you might encounter on social media. They will, in person to your face, insist that plants have feelings.
Yeah.
There was a new argument. Oxygen though.
Oxygen though. Yeah.
Which
Because we're killing so many plants to eat them that we're depleting our oxygen level.
And, you know, I think one of the things we have to keep in mind when we have these kinds of conversations with people, it's very important that you maintain control of the conversation. Because in many occasions, it's like in the comments, you'll explain point A, but then they bring up a point B instead of acknowledging your answer to point A. So, you know, when we explained, for example, to this woman that if her concern is oxygen, then we are feeding all these animals, plants.
A lot of plants.
As well as eating them ourselves. But
and clearing the rainforest to make room for cattle to graze. So
Exactly.
if you really care about trees producing oxygen for us to breathe, then you should super duper be vegan. And she didn't
then she'd loop back to like, well, plants have feelings. And we're like, wait, hold on. And we were showing her like the screen. We were like, look at that. Like, look at that. Would you rather cut into a carrot? No, a carrot's already dead. It's when you pull it out of the ground. And I was like, okay, would you rather go apple picking or to a slaughterhouse? And she said, well, I'd rather not have to choose. And I was like, well, we make that choice every day anyway when you sit down to eat. I'd rather not. And then you get in these like loops and you just have to like really...
You gotta stay on target like gold 5, man.
Yeah,
just stay on
bring
target.
it back to maybe it's a science of dialogue, of conversation, and we've learned so much from Natasha and Luca from watching their videos, from Joey Carbstrong.
Drum and Bass Vegan Face and Earthling Ed.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there doing outreach, which is what that's called when you go into public and you just want to talk to people about veganism. That's outreach. You're reaching out to probably non-vegans. And one thing that we did find very useful, as Natasha and Luca told us in their workshop, to ask questions. Now,
always go back to to questions.
Yeah, they and Joey Carbstrong both call it the Socratic method. Don't tell people things, ask people questions, because people are less likely to listen to you if you just sort of orate at them.
Yeah.
But it's true. It works. You ask people questions and you get them to come to their own conclusions, because if it's their idea, then it's worth listening to. But it was actually your idea.
And if there are screens, bring them back to the screen. And one of the questions I found most effective was, you seem like a really compassionate person. How do you feel when you see something like that? Does it make you hungry? And I never got a yes.
You have to keep in mind what you were like back before you went vegan, because we're assuming that if you're vegan, you probably weren't born vegan. Very few people are. You have to put yourself in that pre-vegan mindset. That actually surprises more people than you would think. Like, not every non-vegan is walking around going, yeah, I know how they treat them, but I don't care. No, they do care. And that's the great thing about the vegan lifestyle, is that everybody already cares. And people's instinct is to be nice and be nurturing and be kind. And all we have to do is just align that feeling
with the action. And you'll see their wheels turning, like the conflict. We know it can feel intimidating at first, but if you have the opportunity to participate in one of these events, we strongly recommend you do. There are 2 things you can do actually in a Cube of Truth. You can hold the screens or the signs and wear the mask. You're not supposed to say anything. So you can just watch people's reactions, their faces, and sort of get that perspective, and you're never going to be forced to do outreach if you don't feel comfortable doing so. Or you can do outreach, if you're comfortable with it. We had a friend who was really, really nervous to do it at first, and it was his second one, but I think in the first one he was in the cube mostly, and this one, you should have seen his face at the end. He was like, I think I reached a lot of people, and it's really rewarding. It's really fulfilling to do that.
And a lot of people are open to talk about it. You're out in a public space. They're out in a public space. It's assumed you might run into some people and have a conversation. Like, you're not peeking into someone's bedroom. Like, hey, let me talk to you about veganism. These are public places that
and they happen, by the way,
used to.
Internationally. Cubes of Truth are international, and check to see if they're in your state or your country. So that was our experience, and we wanted to share it with you guys because I think it is really, really important, like we said in our last video, to practice some form of activism in your community. Not buying into the industry is wonderful, but when you can be out there on the street and people can see what you're fighting for, every social justice movement in history has had that component. And just know that when you participate in some form of activism, the goal isn't necessarily to convert someone to veganism.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
Don't put that kind of pressure on yourself. Yeah. It's to fill their glass with a couple more drops of water, because you know that maybe throughout their lives they will keep hearing it from other places. Like Natasha and Luca put it, it's a point system. Like, pretend you have 100 points.
You're trying to get them to that 100. You might meet someone and they're at 0. And this is the first time they've seen this and the first time they've questioned it. Or maybe you run into somebody and they've seen What the Health, and then they went back and they watched Cowspiracy because they knew that the same people made that documentary. And then maybe they went to a vegan restaurant with a friend of theirs and they had a Beyond Burger. And then they got their courage up and maybe they watched Earthlings. And now they're here with you. And all it takes is that extra 2 little points, and now they're going to be vegan. You never know where everybody's at in their journey.
And now for some vegan news.
Vegan news!
First up, the Prevent Cruelty California Coalition amassed enough signatures to put a new measure on the November 2018 ballot here in California.
That's right. It would require certain farm animals to be completely cage-free, and not only that, it would require other states to follow the exact same standards if they would like to sell those products in the state of California. Now, we know what you're thinking. You're thinking that, hey man, that's not veganism. That's just cage-free. We get it.
We agree.
We totally agree with you. We understand. However, we don't think it's necessarily bad to embrace people's natural instincts to want to improve the conditions of animals. Because, as we said, people already care about animals. And so when they see animals in these tiny cramped cages and they can't turn their head, they can't turn around, they see the pigs in the gestation crates, and all of that is horrible. It's all horrible. And people see that and they go, oh, I didn't know this was going on, or maybe they had a feeling this was going on, but they didn't realize how awful it was. And now they're moved to do something to make a change. Is it all the way vegan? No.
It's either, okay, so are you going to vote yes, or are you going to vote no? Oh, you're not voting at all? Okay, so you want things to stay exactly the way they are.
Unless you vote yes, it's not going to pass. And we agree, we wish there was a measure on the ballot that said everyone go vegan automatically. And then we would check that box.
All farms closed down.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
And it's not an option. But what is an option? Well, this is an option.
Yeah.
You can vote for this or you cannot vote for this.
And let's think about the other positive repercussions that a law like this could have. It means farmers would have to spend a ton of money to redesign, re-engineer, rebuild their whole setup. And it could also mean that animal products, the price would go up.
That's super inconvenient. So it is a disruption in the status quo itself. And people could frame this, oh, it's an attack on farmers. It's not an attack on farmers. Vegans have no qualms with farmers. We all recognize that farmers are simply supplying the demand. There's a demand for animal products. Farmers are supplying that demand.
And we're trying to shift that demand over to plant-based products.
Yes. As the regulations get tighter and tighter on meat production and dairy and eggs, and as more and more and more plant options become available, the scales slowly start to shift in the other direction. It's just going to be a gradual thing. Everyone's not going to go vegan overnight. It's going to be a gradual shift. Next up, they had a huge animal rights march in Australia, in Melbourne, for the release of Dominion. And there isn't really an accurate count available, but according to the Facebook page, there were almost 2,500 people going, and possibly another 3,500 people interested. So this was thousands of people marching for animal rights in Melbourne. Just imagine if everyone that went to a VEGFEST or an Eat Drink Vegan or a vegan street fair or any of those events,
like marched right out of there down the streets of LA, it'd be like 20,000 people.
They're only going to get bigger from here.
Yeah.
Everyone is waking up, everybody is cutting out the animal products, and people are really starting to care. That also really speaks to the importance of this active activism. You know, if you care about something, vote, as we say. Vote both in the ballot box and with your dollar. And if you care about something, get out there and march and show that you care.
Finally, in other news this week, Harvard scientists are saying that a plant-based diet could eliminate 1/3 of premature deaths.
Turns out eating plants, super good for you. And eating animal products, super not good for you.
Yeah, it's like on Access Hollywood last week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the doctor talking about breast cancer.
Yeah. When we heard that that was going to be the topic, we were like, oh, I wonder if they're going to say anything about not consuming dairy. And we got our phones ready. And sure enough, it's on our Instagram. Check it out. it says that one of the myths for breast cancer is that diet doesn't matter. And she said that if you want to prevent breast cancer, no meat and no dairy.
Oh, really? That's so weird. Because I thought eating nothing but meat was healthy for you.
Mm-mm.
That's what some people say.
So guys, thank you so much once again for checking in with us and watching. And if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. It really helps us out. And if you haven't already,
Subscribe! And make sure you hit that notification bell too, so you'll be notified every time we put out a little video on the YouTubes.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, follow us on Instagram, and check out our Etsy store.
Oh!
We are starting to put up some new swag.
What is this? Is this not the perfect vegan festival tank? Come on. And it's vegan festival season! Now some people are saying, Anna and Brian, do you have to curse on your merch? We didn't curse, we bleeped it.
Yep.
We bleeped it out.
To start.
I don't know what word you're thinking of. You got a dirty mind. We also now carry extra large. We know some people were asking about that. And our house vegan shirts are back in stock. We know we were down to one shirt. So if you wanted a house vegan shirt, hit us up. And we've got another tank for festival season and a t-shirt inspired by a fellow YouTuber. I wonder who it could be.
And thank you so much to all our Patreon patrons.
Yes.
You really help us out. One of our biggest goals as influencers is to become more active in our community, and your donations really help us devote more time not only to our channel, but to that, to giving back, to participating in activism and marches, to volunteering. So thank you so much. And if you want to become a Patreon patron, no amount is too small.
We really appreciate every single penny, so thank you guys for
Thanks.
everything.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, if you guys are going to be at VEGFEST, we're going to be there.
Say hi.
Yeah.
Don't be shy, please. Come say hi.
I heard there's this like tall dude with a red beard and brown hair because he wears a wig. He's going to be there doing some vegan Jeopardy. And then there's this other, like, I don't know what you would call them, but they're like a pair of people who are married.
Yeah. And they're vegan.
And they're vegan. Go check out that vegan couple's tour schedule because they're going to be touring till June. So they're going to be coming to a city possibly near you. And then you can go take their workshop and join them for a cube of truth or a vigil.
Vinny.
Hi.
Baby May.
I love you.
Okay.
The Duchess of May.
Baby May, you're so beautiful. Yes, you know. Why are you so beautiful?